So we're going to do a little bit of review on CSS selectors and CSS specificity, and then border radius and box model. So we'll just review some of that. And if you're finding this video online, you could get to all of the course resources by, where are they? Course, let me just look for resources. And that's the very last one. Resources, that's the one we want. You can find these notes right here. And you can take this entire course at greatercommons.com. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just do a little review of CSS selectors. And we'll go in and create a new folder. And this will be directory, and it'll be 033. And we'll just call this review. And then inside there, create a new directory, and we'll call it 01. And then inside 01, we'll create an index.html. And then we'll also create a CSS, which is main. And then we'll link those. My screen is kind of flickering. I don't know what's up with that. So I need a link, put in my link, boom, and main. There we go. And OBS is recording. That's all fine. Not sure why I'm getting a little flicker there. And so then there's just some starting documents we could start with. And I'll just copy this a couple times and paste it in 02, and paste it in 03, and paste it in 04, paste it in 05. We'll see how many of those we need. And now with index and main, split that vertically, get my CSS over there. And I like this CSS selector thing, right? So we could have an H1 and it could be hello world. And then we could use our rule set, which starts with a selectors, and then it has a declaration block between curly braces. And inside our rule set declaration block, there will be declarations. And each declaration is made up of a property and a value. And if you want to look any of these up, the place to go look those up is MDN. So you just Google MDN CSS properties, right? And you can see CSS reference, cascading CSS properties reference. And like here are all the different properties, border, and we had border radius. You know, let me just search for radius. Radius isn't coming up, so I guess that's just under border. And we go look at border. This is incomplete. This list is incomplete. For more CSS, see reference, and right there. So let's go to CSS reference, basic rule, and now we have here are all the different properties, and we have border radius right there. We learned that one, for instance. And so we'll just take a look at that. So we have our H1 selector. And so one property could be color, and its value could be red. And then we could also do another, and that's an element selector. And now we could do an ID selector. And so this one will be cowboy. And so that's a div with ID cowboy. So I could come over here, and I could say cowboy. And then I could do a height property and do like, I don't know, 200 pixels. And I could do a width, and I could do 200 pixels. And then I could do a background color, and I could do, you know, blue, and I could do border color. But, you know, border is a shorthand, but we also have border, all these, we have border bottom, border color. You see right there is color. We have border left, border radius, border right, border spacing, border top, border width, right? So we have all these different things. So if I do like border 1 pix solid red, what that is I go to MDN and I look for border CSS, and here's border. And border is a shorthand property for border width, border style, and border color. And so border width, border style, border color, right? I could go look at each of those at the documentation, border width, border style, border color. And what I would see is here we have border width, border style, border color, and that's how the shorthand operates. So we got background color, we have border, and blue and red's going to be hard for colorblind people, so maybe we'll make this tomato as a color, and then we have red on the outside. Yeah, maybe make it, 10 pixels or 20 pixels, and we can make it groove. So there's just different choices. So we got height, width, background. We could do border radius, and we could do that at like 15%, and that's going to round it. But we could have also, instead of when we have one value there, right? When we have one value, what is that? That applies to all four corners, right? That's top, right, bottom, left, treble. When we have two values, I could have done it like this, border, radius, and two values could have been like 5%, 40%, right? And then that's going to be top and bottom and right and left. And I'm pretty sure that's top, bottom, right, and left. And then if we had four values, right, it's top, right, bottom, left. And so let's just preview this, and I'm going to choose to see this. And we're going to go to Reveal in Finder and open that up. And so my code is 5% on the top and bottom. So here's top, and here's right, and here's bottom. So top and bottom's 5%, and right and left is 40%, right? This one here is TBRL, right? Top and bottom, right and left. This one here is TRBL, right? Top, right, bottom, left. And this one here is all of them, TRBL, right? Does it make sense? So if we change this and we go from this one to this one, we're going to see the top right corner is going to be really rounded. And so that's what that one looks like. And the bottom is top right, bottom. The third one is nothing, so it's just a total pointy. So it's kind of interesting. So we have an element selector, we have an ID selector, and then we could do a class selector. And a class selector is it could be applied to many things. And so there's many things, and you could have two, right? And so I might then change this, where I pull this out, and maybe I make this an element selector for a div, and so this code gets applied, the CSS gets applied to all the divs, and then that gets applied to Cowboy, and then for anything that is a class, many things, right? Then this is going to be applied, here, and I'll make this one here light powder blue, and blue. And then I also maybe will do, and notice here I have a little code error. So it doesn't like a unit of measurement when it's 0. So I just leave it 0 and I don't specify unit of measurement because it doesn't matter if it's pixels. It doesn't matter if it's percent or pixels. It's just 0, whatever it is. And so that might be what I do on that one. And on this one, here I maybe have these all at 10%, or maybe all of them are at 50%, just really round. And so now when I look at this page, we've got those. So we're talking about selectors, CSS selectors, and we've looked at an element selector, we've looked at a ID selector, the #, we've looked at a class selector, and we'll just keep building on this. And in the next video, we'll start to look at some of the child selectors and sibling selectors. And so that's what we'll see in the next video. How many people this review is helpful for you? How many people it feels like a waste of time? You already know this.